Today is Friday, September 20th. We've got the latest from the campaign trail as Vice President Harris speaks with Oprah Winfrey, and former President Trump had a message for Jews. And we'll tell you the latest from the Middle East as violence between Israel and Lebanon continues to escalate. Plus, the impact on Wall Street after the first interest rate cut in 4 years. Which 3 athletes just broke records as their seasons come to a close. And get ready for the first day of fall. Those stories and even more news to know coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. The latest polls show the contest between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump is still extremely close, as both candidates are vying for votes on the campaign trail. Vice President Harris was in Detroit, Michigan last night at an event with Oprah Winfrey, who has endorsed Harris. The two sat down for a talk show-style discussion. They talked about a new day and the joy of the Harris campaign, but the conversation also turned emotional, with personal stories of people impacted by state abortion bans and school shootings. When asked about her previous statements that she was a gun owner, Harris confirmed, saying, quote, "If somebody breaks into my house, they're getting shot." Then she joked she probably shouldn't have said that. Harris went on to repeat her calls for an assault weapons ban and universal background checks. Meanwhile, former President Trump was in Washington, D.C. at an event about fighting anti-Semitism. He pledged to be the defender of Jewish Americans and Israel, but also suggested that if he loses the election, it would be Jews' fault, saying he doesn't have enough support from them. He later spoke at the Israeli-American Council National Summit to honor victims of the October 7th attack on Israel. But his campaign has also had to respond to controversy surrounding the Republican candidate for governor in North Carolina that Trump has supported. According to a new CNN report, Mark Robinson once called himself a black Nazi years ago and also defended slavery on a pornographic forum. Robinson put out a video that said the report was not true, and he said he'll stay in the race. For now, the Trump campaign did not comment about those allegations, but said North Carolina is a vital part of him winning the White House. Early voting has officially started in some states across the country. Today, Minnesota and South Dakota start both mail and in-person early voting, and Virginia begins in-person early voting today as well. We'll be talking about voter registration trends and data so far in tomorrow's special edition episode. Well, the Israeli military launched a new wave of airstrikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. It's just the latest development after 2 days of other attacks when Hezbollah's pagers and walkie-talkies exploded, killing 37 people and injuring thousands. Israel's defense minister spoke again of a new phase of war, saying Israel's goal is to only ensure the safe return of Israeli residents to their homes along the Lebanon border. The leader of Hezbollah, which is designated as a terrorist group in the U.S., called Israel's actions a terrorist attack, saying the device explosions killed both fighters and civilians. This is all a clear escalation from the daily tit-for-tat cross-border fighting that has been going on for the last 11 months. Now, the Wall Street Journal is citing senior U.S. officials who privately say it's unlikely there will be a ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas before the end of President Biden's term. The U.S. Justice Department has charged a man from Alaska for threatening to kill 6 Supreme Court justices. Court documents show the 76-year-old man sent close to 500 messages to the Supreme Court through an online portal, and they included violent, racist, and homophobic rhetoric. He's even accused of threatening to assassinate, kidnap, and execute the justices. The suspect pleaded not guilty to the 22 charges he faces now. The Supreme Court is not commenting. A quick update for you. It appears the search for the I75 shooter in Kentucky is finally over. After 12 days of searching, Kentucky State Police say they believe they found the suspect's body. The coroner's office will still need to confirm his identity, but law enforcement found clothes and other items that indicate it's him. Officials had combed at least 28,000 acres of a massive national forest with tough terrain looking for that gunman while the community was on edge. He had opened fire on the highway earlier this month, hitting a dozen cars and hurting several people. Apparently, a smell and vultures circling the area finally led authorities to the body. A couple who was live streaming their search also found the body about the same time and helped out and will now get the reward money. Local schools that had closed are now back open. Stocks hit a record high a day after the Federal Reserve's big interest rate cut this week. The S&P 500 rose 1.7% yesterday, topping its last all-time high set in July. While the Dow Jones was up 1.3%, also closing at a record high. The tech-dominated NASDAQ led the way, though, climbing 2.5%. Investors had been a little unsure leading up to the Fed's interest rate decision, but once the central bank lowered rates by an aggressive 0.5 percentage point this week and said more cuts could be coming this year, it erased uncertainty and sent stocks soaring the next day. But keep in mind, analysts say the stock market tends to pull back in the month leading up to the presidential election. Investors often take a wait-and-see approach to get more clarity on the policies that could be coming. All right, we have much more news for you still ahead, but first, thanks to our sponsor. Have you ever felt that searching for the right doctor is like a bad Mad Libs? You need a blank specialist who takes blank insurance, who is within blank miles of you, who has an appointment within blank amount of time, who can actually help you with blank issue, and on and on and on. It's not fun. ZocDoc makes it easier, though, to fill in those blanks, filter through all the options, and find what you need faster. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. Whenever I need a new doctor, I check ZocDoc. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. Now back to the news. People still aren't buying many homes as the number of home sales continues to drop. A new survey from the National Association of Realtors found that home sales fell by 2.5% in August compared to the month before. And they're down more than 4% compared to the same time last year. The news comes despite the fact that mortgage rates have already gone down in anticipation of the Fed lowering interest rates this week, and there are 22% more houses on the market now compared to last year. Though more inventory combined with lower mortgage rates makes the possibility that it could get at least closer to a buyer's market soon. For now, median home prices in America are at a record high for August, at around $416,000. It may not feel like the holiday season quite yet, but retailers are ramping up already, announcing deals to entice shoppers as early as possible. Amazon, Walmart, Target, and more have honed in on early October as the time to offer steep discounts. Both Amazon and Walmart have now said they'll start their fall sales on October 8th, and Target will feature Circle Week from October 6th through 12th. With early deals and discounts, retailers are already starting their holiday hiring as well. Target, for example, says it plans to hire 100,000 seasonal workers. As Axios put it, playoff season in retail is about to start, with Black Friday in November being the Super Bowl event. For the first time in Major League Baseball history, a player has hit 50 home runs and stolen 50 bases, all in the same season. Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers became the first person in professional baseball's nearly 150 years of existence to accomplish the feat. And he did it in a historic way, hitting 3 home runs and stealing 2 bases in a win over the Miami Marlins. That was also the first time anyone had done that in a single game since at least 1900. Arguably baseball's biggest star, Ohtani made a name for himself as both a pitcher and hitter with the Angels. The 2-time MVP made the switch to the Dodgers this past offseason and has already delivered on his massive $700 million contract. More records were broken this week, this time in the WNBA. Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark and Las Vegas Aces superstar A'ja Wilson both recently made the history books. Last Sunday, Wilson became the first player in league history to score 1,000 points in a season, while Clark broke the rookie scoring record, finishing the season with 761 points. Clark also set the single-season assist record this season. And there's more to come because the WNBA regular season just ended last night, but playoffs begin this Sunday. Clark's Indiana Fever will play the Connecticut Sun at 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC, while Wilson's Las Vegas Aces, who are the 2-time defending champs, will try to become the first team since 2000 to win 3 titles in a row. But number 1 seed New York Liberty is the overall favorite. The entrance of Clark and fellow rookie Angel Reese, who's out for the season with an injury, has led to a surge in interest in the league and set attendance records. You can watch the playoffs starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Sunday on ESPN. Get ready to embrace all things pumpkin. It's officially the first day of fall on Sunday with the autumn equinox. During the equinox, day and night are both about 12 hours long in most parts of the world. It's the exact moment when the sun is directly above the equator. In the northern hemisphere, it's the beginning of fall, while it's the first day of spring for those in the southern hemisphere. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, though, days will start to become shorter than nights as the sun rises later and sets earlier in the months to come. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Feel Good Friday, when we bring you one extra feel-good or positive news story before the weekend. But first, a quick break for our sponsor. We all have those certain items in our closet that we pick over everything else, right? When it comes to leggings and shapewear, Honeylove is my first choice by far. In fact, I wear their Legging 2.0 literally every week. They are stylish, comfortable, have great shaping, they're super soft with a cooling material, and they're convenient with pockets on the sides. And for special events, Honeylove's shapewear is the only one that I will wear. It's effective and comfortable, it doesn't ride up, and it has a bunch of features that makes it more convenient than any other brand. I also love their bras and other essentials. Whether I'm working from home, working out, or attending a special event, Honeylove has me covered. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras, shapewear, leggings, and tanks on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/newsworthy, to find your perfect fit. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras and more that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. Now back to Feel Good Friday. One California family is donating $5 million to help students as a thank you to the family who rented a house to them when no one else would. The Dong family bought their house in Coronado, California, after renting it from Gus and Emma Thompson back in 1939. At the time, Chinese Americans, like the Dongs, were not typically welcome as renters in California. But Gus Thompson had been born into slavery and moved to Coronado for a better life, so the Thompsons wanted to give the Dong family an opportunity. Now, years later, the Dongs have decided to sell the home, and they're giving $5 million from the proceeds to help fund a resource center for Black students at San Diego State University. The school is also naming the center after Gus Thompson. The Dongs said it was only fair for them to give back to the Black community after the kindness that was showed to them 85 years ago. The family also hosted descendants of the Thompsons at the house this week before it sells. Both the Dongs and the Thompsons' relatives cut a ceremonial ribbon at the new San Diego State University Center. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back tomorrow with our special edition Saturday episode. We're breaking down the latest voter registration data. We'll tell you which events and people have caused huge spikes in signups and what that actually means for Election Day. Then we'll be back with another news roundup on Monday. You can further support our work here and get ad-free episodes by becoming a Newsworthy Insider. Sign up for your free trial at thenewsworthy.com/insider. And Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to episodes of The Newsworthy ad-free in the Wondery app. For now, have a great weekend.